Okay, I can do this. There we go. Come on. There we go. I swear, this thing is not cooperating. There are two people here. Bless your poor souls. There we go. Stay in the stand. Whew. All right. Number one. Welcome. I swear, it's I'm not gonna say we're under attack because I give those words no power, but it's like technical difficulty after technical difficulty trying to just spread the Father's words. So Shabbat Shalom, even though Shabbat was yesterday, but our ability to actually pre-record our Torah portions and our readings of Scripture are still impaired. The new phone is on its way. So we're doing this live because at least this way it will be memorialized on the YouTubes forever. So, and because, you know, apparently it's impossible to please everybody. Last week I got yelled at for using the New King James Version. That was clearly unacceptable. What up, Eddie Wells? I can read. Former North Texan, now Northwestern Arkansas. Do you mean Arklatexa-Homus? Arklatexa-Homus. I'm familiar. So anyway, rather than Shabbat Shalom, brother. Rather than King James, we're going to read out of the Scriptures this week, which I guess is fitting because this is Torah portion. So, and to join Torah portion, we have the Local Buzz Honey Ale, Honey Rye Golden Ale. This is from somebody here in Texas. It's pretty good. We will wet our whistle with that. So we're going to jump right into this. Last week, good evening, Lou Flu. Good evening, brother. Last week we did number 16, and so the takeaway from 16 there was there's been contention all the way up. So numbers 15 set the stage for the revolution of Korah's revolt, right? So Korah, Dathan, and Abiram were like, no way, dude, we're not wearing these zitziot. This is the final straw. I'm not doing it. So, and they had multiple reasons in their mind up to this point to take issue with Moshe and Aaron. And so they used the zitziot as a reason to rebel. So they did. And the Father sucked them into the ground and down to the fiery pits, right? And then the 250 dudes that were, this is number 16, 250 captains that were gathered under Korah, Dathan, and Abiram at the entrance to the tabernacle, they got smoked. So Eliezer runs and picks up their censers. They hammer those into plates and adorn the altar with those as a reminder to people, do what the Father tells you to do. If you don't, you'll get smoked and we'll have to hang your battered out censer onto the altar as well. So that kind of sets the stage. Oh, hold on. And then the next day, hello Adam Allen. So the next day, the whole congregation comes to Moshe and Aaron and like, you murdered these people. You murdered these people. So the glory of the Lord descends, right? And the day before, the Father had been like, look, y'all need to get out of the way because I'm about to smoke everybody. Aaron and Moshe fall on their face. They pray for intercession. They say, you're gonna kill everybody just because of the iniquity of a few. And so the Father's like, okay, good point. Well, the very next day, the whole congregation shows up and says, you murdered these guys. You murdered, Abiram, Dathan, and Korah. and these 250 guys at the mouth of the tabernacle. And so the Father shows up, his glory descends, and a plague goes out from center. And 14,700 people die before Aaron can get in the gap in between the Father and these people and stay this plague with a censer full of incense. And as I said last week, I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means, other than exactly what that means. So that sets the stage there for number 17, where we are this week. And the crux of the issue that Korah had with Moshe and Aaron was, under whose authority? Are you acting of your own authority or of the Father's authority? And they had an issue with the Aaronic priesthood and the duties given to the tribe of Levi. They wanted that. So here we are in 17, out of the scriptures, because apparently the New King James Version is unacceptable for some, which is fine. That's why we have the scriptures. We can go that way, no problem. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a rod of each father's house, all of their leaders according to their father's house, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod. Gather up all the head dudes, pull a rod, a stick, a stave, right? Part of a tree. Scratch your name on it, write your name on it so we know whose is whose is whose. Okay. And write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For there is one rod for the head of each father's house. You shall then place them in the tent of appointment before the witness, the tabernacle in front of the ark of the covenant, where I will meet with you. And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumblings of the children of Israel, which they grumble against you." So we're going to put this to bed once and for all. I'm tired. The Father is basically paraphrasing, saying, I'm tired of all this nonsense. I've had enough of it. I've walked down the hallway enough times and beaten y'all's butts enough times. We're going to put this to bed once and for all. "And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumblings of the children of Israel, which grumble against you." 6. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel and all their leaders, and gave them a rod each, for each leader according to their father's houses, the 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. So Moshe placed the rods before Yahweh in the tent of the witness, the tabernacle in front of the ark of the covenant. Go with whatever translation you want, y'all. I mean, I do like this one because it's closer to the original. It's been stepped on less, but 'tis what it is. So Moshe places the rod before Yahweh in the tent of the witness. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe went into the tent of the witness, the tabernacle, and saw that the rod of Aaron, of the house of Levi, had budded and brought forth buds and blossomed and bore ripe almonds. So this stick that they stuck in the ground, Aaron's stick now has blossoms on it and ripe almonds. Everybody else's stick doesn't, which is why they wrote their names on the rod, so they could say definitively, "This is my rod, bro. The Father chose this guy right here with his name on it." And Moshe brought out all of the rods before Yahweh to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Bring Aaron's rod back before the witness, the tabernacle, to be kept as a sign against the rebels, so that you put an end to their grumblings against me, lest they die." Basically, like, hang this on the wall. So, like we talked about last week, the paddle hanging on the wall. See that? Y'all don't act right. I'm going to pull my paddle down, and I'm going to go to town. It is a sign in memorial, in perpetuity. Just look. Who's chosen? Aaron's chosen. Okay. And Moshe brought out of the rods Israel, and Yah said to Moshe, 10, "Bring Aaron's rod back before the witness, to be kept as a sign amongst the rebels, to put an end to their grumblings, lest they die." 11. And Moshe did as Yahweh had commanded him, so he did. And the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, "See, we shall die, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Anyone who comes near the dwelling place of Yahweh dies. Shall we be consumed to die?" ? So 17 is a short passage that finally just nails down the lid of the question of whether or not the Father has chosen Aaron and the priesthood, the Levites, to minister to the tabernacle, right? What up, Palmetto? Good to see you, brother. So, hold on. Okay, a little dry mouth there. So number 17 just puts to bed the question of who did the Father choose, who did Yahweh choose to minister unto the tribes, right? No more of this trying to usurp the priesthood nonsense, right? So, in preparation for this past weekend, Harmony and I do these teachings together before it ever gets to y'all. And so we read through this a couple of times. Usually by the time I've gotten to y'all, I've read through it 3 times or so in preparation for these conversations that we have. I got to tell you, I have done a lot of research here lately, and we're kind of going to go off on a tangent, and it'll be okay. I don't know everything. Y'all know some stuff, I'm sure. I'm sure you know a lot of stuff. We have the Levitical line, right? Levi, the tribe of Levi, becomes established to minister to run the tabernacle, right? Set it up, take it down, minister the sacrifices, right? And the bloodline of Aaron. Okay, so chosen people, right? This is the priesthood, and everybody else brings their sacrifices to the priesthood, and in return, the priesthood serves as the stand-between, the go-between between the Father and everybody else, the other 12 tribes. So because the tribe of Levi is engaged in this, they don't have an inheritance in the land. The Father tells them that, you're not going to get land per se, so they're not going to be out there growing crops, running cattle, having flocks of sheep, baths, as Aspen calls them. They don't have that, so they live off the offerings that are brought to the temple, the tithes, right? So that establishes the Levitical line, the house of Levi, the tribe of Levi, as the priesthood for all of the Torah, right, up until the time of Yeshua, right? It becomes a tradition in Judaism, right? You've got to be of the house of Levi. Okay, cool. Question. Shalom. Hey, Francis. Good to see you here. Maybe you know the answer to this. So, we have the tribe of Levi, right? They're the ones that the Father establishes at the time of Moshe and Aaron over the running of his people, right? They are the go-between. So Moshe is the only prophet who meets the Father face to face. Hey, crazy horse. Yeah. So Moshe is the only one who sees the Father face to face, that the Lord talks face to face with, right? Not the only one, but bear with me here. So the tribe of Levi, they're given this responsibility at the time of Moshe and Aaron. Now remember, the people have already been in captivity, right? 400 years. So the Father tells Abraham, 400 years will your people be in captivity in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. Okay, so before that, right, if we go all the way back to Genesis 14, Abram, he's been engaged in a little bit of a war, right? And he's coming back from this little bit of a war that he's been in, and they happen to run upon this guy who's the king of Salem and a priest. Where have we heard that before? The line of the kings and the line of the priests. And this dude's name is Melchizedek or Melchizedek or Melchizedek or something. Melchizedek. of which Yeshua, not Yahweh, Yeshua, is a priest in the order of Melchizedek. Not in the line of Aaron and the Levites. So there's some talk here that Mary, on her, hey, Brother Roger, you probably know the answer to this question. Hey, Lois. So there's some talk here, right, that Mary's cousin was of the tribe of Levi, but your inheritance and your lineage is on the father's side, which would be his adopted father, Joseph, who was of the tribe of Judah, the kings, right? So we have the king line and the priest line joined in Yeshua. But it says expressly that he's not of the Levitical line, the Aaronic line of the priesthood. He's of the order of Melchizedek. Who is this guy? Who is this Melchizedek, right? So I'm like, and I know I'm probably saying his name wrong, you know, like North Texas white dude 4,000 years later. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but he was a powerful guy. So Abram gives a tithe to him, right? Abram, and so you tithe, the lesser tithes to the greater, and then Abram receives Melchizedek's blessing, and the greater blesses the lesser. So this dude was more renowned than Melchizedek, right? And I've done a lot of reading this weekend, and I have no idea how much of it is accurate and how much of it isn't. So I'm going to try not to, step on too many toes here, because I honestly don't know. I've just done a lot of research. And again, a lot of it is way above my head thus far. But I'm like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And in the Messianic tradition of Judaism, there's an oral tradition that Melchizedek gave the Torah to Abram. And the father, Yah, blessed Abram with the Ha and made him Abraham, from Abram to Abraham, upon receiving the Torah. Now that could just be a cute story, and I don't have a scriptural reference for that, because there's like very little on Melchizedek in the Bible. He's in Genesis, then he's in Hebrews, and then he's mentioned in the New Testament this much, and that's it. And all we know is this dude was like a total BA guy up on the side of a mountain somewhere, and Abram passes through. Abram sees this guy and goes, hey, you want a tenth of everything I've got? Because you're that awesome. And he goes, you know what? I like you. Have a blessing. By the way, hey, sniper. He's like, by the way, here's some Torah for you. Now, this is Genesis 14. This is way before Moshe and Aaron's time. Okay, 400-ish years, right? Because remember, they're coming out of Mitzrayim. They've been in slavery. As the father tells Abraham, he's like, your people are going to be, in bondage, in chains for 400 years. And then he taps Moshe on the shoulders like, I need you. Get these people out, right? And so Moshe does. And then he goes up the mountain, receives the tablets, which he immediately breaks coming down, because he's like, didn't I just tell you guys? I just told you guys. Well, where did this golden calf come from? I don't know. We threw the gold in the fire and this calf just came out. And he's like, right? So, I don't know. Shalom, Sister Francis. I don't know. But there's this concept that the Torah, the first time it was given was prior to Moshe. So, and it's almost like Moshe and Aaron. And again, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've researched this weekend. It's almost like they were stewards of it for a time, until the order of Melchizedek was restored, by Yeshua when he came in the flesh. And so it's interesting, because this is, we don't do this because it saves us. We do this because we're saved. We don't observe the Torah to be saved. We are saved and then convicted by the Ruach HaKodesh to keep the Torah to the best of our broken ability. So it's like you can see that the Levitical line, thank you, is 109.8 in the shop here recently, so had to go. You can see that the Levitical line, they were doing the best that they could with what they had, where they were at, right? And clearly they weren't quite getting it done. I mean, all it takes is read a little bit of this book, the Apocrypha, and Maccabees and Esdras, and you can just see, or Esdras, or I don't know, again, 4,000 years later, it doesn't come with a pronunciation guide in there. You can see the back and forth of trying to keep the law. Oh wow, we really suck at the law. Trying to keep the law. Sorry, we messed up again. Tried to keep. Oh, the temple got destroyed. Somebody stole the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, okay, we'll get it. Hey, take this thing back. This thing sucks. Everybody's dying. Okay, we got this thing back. Where should we put it? We'll rebuild the temple. Shalom, Jimmy from Tucson. Right. So there's this constant back and forth where it's like we're trying to do what we're supposed to do, but we can't do it. Try again. Oh, we still can't do it. And so Yeshua comes, and I'm not here to usurp the law. I'm here to fulfill the law, right? Let me show you how. I'm going to walk this thing for you perfectly. Okay, cool. Right, so it's that grace versus obedience thing. Like, we can't be fully obedient because of this. We got this thing going on. This humanity is, we're a busted up vessel to begin with. We're an imperfect vessel for the Spirit that comes directly from the Father. That doesn't mean we don't do this Torah thing. Yes, we do, because we have this lineage, right? So Yeshua and the Father and the Ruach, they are one. They are Echad, right? They all come from the same place with the same facets, different facets of the same thing. So we do this Torah to the best of our ability. But when we can't, we have Yeshua, who is of the order of Melchizedek, who is, don't know. But boy, I'm really trying to find out. So it seems that, and again, I could be completely wrong, but it seems that the Levitical order, Aaron and the Levites, were given stewardship over the law by the Father for a time to be as perfectly imperfect as they could, given the circumstance, until the Lamb came back to atone for our sins. So, and man, there's a lot there. Well, he couldn't have possibly been the Passover lamb because he was beaten and broken, and you know you're not allowed to do that. Roger. So, you know, I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, I don't think that because the order of Melchizedek was restored per se, that it negates the instruction given by the Levitical, hierarchy that the Father establishes in the Torah. But it's something to at least consider. Not that we transgress the law purposefully, because the instruction still stands, but it provides some context to me to see that, like, these guys were trying. They were trying to get it done. Obviously, they couldn't. The need for a Messiah was great and always will be great. And so the Father made a way for them, for us, and for everybody to come until He comes again. But it begs the question to me, who was this Melchizedek dude? Like, where did he come from? What did he do? Somebody let me know. Okay. Gonna turn this thing off right now. That's the Torah portion for today, number 17. We'll take a quick break while this processes, and then we will get on to the reading for this week, which will be Ecclesiastes 6 and 7. So, shalom. Love you guys, and if you want to stick around, I'll be back live here in a hot minute.